All right, everyone. Thank you for coming to our very first monthly check-in for our KCE communities, kicking off our new year right for 2026. Very first check-in that we'd like to do with you all. We've already introduced ourselves a little bit. I'm Caitlin Coulterman, Quality Places Specialist and the main administrative lead for KCE. And my supervisor, Sarah Bloom, is our Quality Places Director. So I'm really grateful to have her here today for all of her expertise. So just a little bit of an agenda, what we'd like to go over today. We already kind of did our welcome. I'll go over kind of the stats for the special enrollment period, what you can hope to be expecting in 2026, and then we'll have a little bit more group discussion at the end if needed. So, kind of where we're at and how we got started. Kansas Commerce took over administration of the program in July 1st, so a little more than 6 months ago. We completed a listening tour. We visited 65 communities in just 49 days from July to September. Using that feedback, we created kind of a draft of what we wanted the enrollment process to look like. We put that draft on our KCE website. We invited all of the KCE communities to send us public comments and any feedback on the process. And then we opened our special enrollment period just last month. So from December 1st to December 31st, we had anybody who is interested in being a KCE community enroll. And from that special enrollment period, we had 45 of the previously enrolled KCE communities re-enroll. So out of the 62 previously enrolled communities that we got from K-State, 45 have re-enrolled during the special enrollment period. Good grief, sorry. Should have had more than one screen for this. We have had 10 brand new KCE communities join. So Alma, Katy, Believe in Downs, Visit Harrington, Mankato, Oldsburg, Downtown Plainville, Sent Topeka, the Toronto Booster Club, and Paxico Proud have all signed up as of yesterday. These are the new communities that we've received. So that makes a total of 55 currently enrolled KCE communities. 12 are currently communities of growth, 10 are communities of action, and 32 are communities of empowerment. Our goal is to reach 100 enrolled communities by the end of this year. So hoping to bring up that 55 number up to 100 by the end of the year, which I definitely think we can do once we start promoting and really getting the word out about it and everyone sees the impact that it's been making. I think that'll be really great. Everyone's applications all looked really good. There were just a handful of applications that didn't quite meet the requirements, but I think everybody on this call, their application all looked great. Just a handful of applications missing, like mission and vision. Those are very, very important. We want to make sure that everyone has a dedicated mission and vision for their KCE communities. That is a requirement for applying for any of our grants, which we can talk about with the program requirements. So going over just what's required of KCE communities, going along with enrollment, we really want these KCE communities to be volunteer-led. And while they can operate in conjunction with the city or county government, we really want to be empowering community volunteers to be engaged in their communities. Again, as I said, mission and vision is very, very important for every KCE community. That is a requirement. We will have communities submitting reporting twice per calendar year. These won't be due until I think June of this year, June 1st and December 1st. Our next annual enrollment period will be July 1st to August 31st, which no one on this call will need to re-enroll because you've already enrolled for the 2026-2027 KCE program year. We are planning to evaluate participation levels on an annual basis, so please make sure that you are fulfilling the requirements for your KCE community tier. And we have kind of a breakdown of the comparison of the requirements that you do have to meet. You have to have a certain amount of volunteers, you have to have a certain amount of annual goals, and a certain amount of meetings per year for those three tiers. One thing that we have required on this list is a community assessment. I did want to give everyone an update on that. We are in the process of revamping our community assessment. So we will have that revamped probably by the end of March, and that will be available for you all to complete. However, it will not be required for any KCE community until we begin the regular 2026-2027 program year beginning after July 1st. With these tiers, we have two different types of grants. Kickstart grants, communities of growth are eligible for up to $2,000. Communities of action eligible for up to $5,000. And then we have communities of excellence who are eligible for all grants, either Kickstart or our impact grants, which will go up to $15,000 is our biggest amount. So with that, I think I can jump into kind of going over what our grant process will look like. So we have $100,000 total funding available for these grants in 2026. For Kickstart grants, the minimum that you can receive is $500, and then the maximum is $5,000 if you are at least a community of action. Again, if you are a community of growth, you can receive up to $2,000. Impact grants are $5,000 to $15,000. We are looking to open the first round beginning February 1st, with the application deadline being March 31st, and hoping to complete round two September 1st until October 31st. Just going over the two different grants and what the difference is there a little bit. Of course, the amounts are different and the availability for each grant is different. We have $20,000 available each round for the Kickstart grant. These grants must kickstart action or excitement in your community. And again, they must follow or support your KCE community's mission and vision. So these grants can be very, very diverse, very wide range of activities, pretty much anything that your KCE community might need to support its mission and vision, excluding advertising such as website or social media expenses, radio ads, banners, TV ads. We really want to focus on creating empowerment and impact and engagement within the communities instead of focusing on just the digital side and getting the word out about these events and projects. We really want to focus on the events and projects themselves. So examples for things you could use this for: trash bags for community cleanup day, chalk, markers and pens, anything that aligns with your adopted mission and vision and responds to a demonstrated community need. Moving on to impact grants. These grants are a little bigger. They're really designed to make a big impact on your community. So these go up to $15,000. And we have $30,000 available for each round for these impact grants. These are a one-to-one match as well. I don't know if I said the Kickstart grant is a one-to-one match. The difference for the impact grants is that 50% of this can be in kind, including the volunteer hours, which are valued at $28 an hour. 50% does have to be a cash match. And these projects are really focused on projects that contribute to communities' long-term vitality. So projects that are sustainable, permanent, that will last a long time in the community. So it's really important in these grants to kind of demonstrate how these projects will last a long time, how they will engage the community for a long time. And some of the examples of what you could do are a public art installation, community garden, any kind of placemaking or beautification improvements, really just focusing on community sustainability and permanent and sustainable projects that will contribute to the community's long-term vitality.
Caitlin, before we jump on, anyone
Mhm.
have any comments or questions about grants? Excited for this? We have more money available than we've ever had before in grant funding. So we're very excited that these grants are larger than what's been offered in the past. They are hopefully more customizable to the goals that you all have in your community. But any questions on the grants? They launch very, very quickly here in a few weeks. What can we answer ahead of it opening for anyone, if anything?
I wouldn't say answer, but just from um, Kaney joined this, I think, when it was called the Pride Program
Mhm.
back when it very first started. And I wasn't even living in Kenya at the time, but I kind of kept up with what was happening. And the Kickstarter was huge for Kenya at that time for them to get one little win. And so
Yeah,
I love that you guys are doing this on totally different levels for each different level. That's fantastic because I think that is what's going to really kickstart people moving along. So thank you.
absolutely. We heard that a lot in the listening tour, so I appreciate you saying that, Jared. We heard a lot from some of our smaller communities that they wanted to continue to see those smaller grant opportunities. But then we heard from some of our communities of excellence who are ready to take on something a little bit bigger. So we're excited to offer those two different levels. And again, most of you on this call are excellence, if not all. But you are able to apply for either of these grants when you are an excellence community. So whether you just need a little Kickstarter to help with a small event or you're ready to do a big groundbreaking project, we're trying to make these again customizable for whatever the goals are of your communities. Um, the impact grants, we may only give out one or two of those each round because you can ask for up to 15,000 and there's only 30,000 available. But we really wanted to try to offer a larger amount to make some of these really sustainable and impactful projects happen. So again, any other comments or questions on the grants?
Are the applications available to look over now, or do we have to wait until February 1?
Yep.
What's
They
the
will be
status on
very
that?
soon, Patsy. It's a great question. They will be very soon. We're working on them right now. The grant applications will be done through a platform called Salesforce. So you will need to register with Salesforce before applying. If you've applied for other commerce grants, you may already be registered under that platform, but we will help walk you through that process. But yeah, as soon as we get those applications finalized, we will have examples on our website for you. And speaking of the website, if you haven't been out there in a while, it is kansascommerce.gov/KCE, and we'll put that in the comments for you all. But that is where we are posting news updates and events that are happening. All of the grants will be out there. I'm sure most of you have been out there to get re-registered as a participating community, but all of the grant resources will be on the website as soon as we have them available, which should be in the next 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Perfect. Caitlin, continue. Thanks for letting me interrupt.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so I just wanted to touch base on some of the upcoming events that are happening in 2026. So we have our KCE Summit Day on the Hill here in Topeka, Kansas, scheduled for April 2nd this year. So look for more information coming out about that. We just talked a little bit about our grant application period, opening round one, February 1st to the 31st. We will have an info webinar to go over guidelines for this grant and how to apply on February 4th. So there's more information about that. I believe the link is in the newsletter, and I can also send it out as a follow-up. We have a couple of trainings coming up. We have one at the end of this month, just general bylaws creation, board governance, how to get that going. Just a virtual training over the lunch hour, just like this. March 3rd, we have community beautification and strategic planning. That will be another virtual training that will actually be led by Sarah and Kate, who are both on this call. They're both very knowledgeable and will hold a very good training for you all to talk about how you can kind of get your strategic plans ready to go for 2026 and set some goals for your communities. Our next monthly check-in, these are on the second Tuesday of the month. So the next one will be February 10th over the lunch hour, just like this one. Um, so we will have kind of a similar layout. We'll have just us giving updates from Kansas Commerce on where we're at with grants and other upcoming events. And then we'll have introductions and just kind of some time to discuss different projects that you all have going on and time for you all to get advice and network with each other. I think that's all I had. Just wanting to open it back up for questions if anybody has any comments or any other discussion that they'd like to give. And I did see that we had one other person, Laura, join. If you'd like to introduce yourself, and I can stop the recording.
Hi, Laura Musil.